Hello and Namaste. Welcome to Temple's Books and Science. I have been talking about interesting science books in my latest series, Science for the Soul. Today I want to talk to you about the book, Mr. God, This is Anna. This is not a science book, but a book about scientific spirit and certainly one for the soul. It is the biography of an extraordinary little girl named Anna who died when she was less than 8 years old. The author of this book, Fynn, finds this child abandoned in the docks of London and brings her home. In this book, he recounts his memories of this brilliant and inquisitive child with whom he spent 3+ years of his life before she died in a tragic accident. Anna is an amazingly intelligent child who comes up with some extraordinary insights on life. She had a special relationship with God, whom she refers to as Mr. God. But she doesn't accept what the church tells about God. She insists on exploring the world to understand the nature of God. She comes up with some brilliant theories based on the things she sees and learns. The Archbishop of Canterbury writes in the preface to this book, if you want somebody to understand what the major intellects of the world's religion mean by God, you can introduce them to Anna. Let me give you an example. One day, Fynn teaches her about light using colored glasses. He explains to her how we see colors. A yellow flower looks yellow to us because it absorbs all other colors except yellow. After listening to this, Anna infers that God must be empty. She says an yellow flower that didn't want yellow light is called yellow because that's what we see. But Mr. God is different. He wants everything, so he does not reflect anything back. We cannot possibly see him, can we? Mr. God is empty, not because there was truly nothing there, but because he accepts everything. Of course, you could cheat if you wanted to. You could wear a colored glass marked Mr. God is loving, or another one marked Mr. God is kind. But then, of course, you would miss the whole nature of Mr. God. What a lovely way of saying God is everything, not just the things you like. That is the very essence of the Hindu concept of Vishwarupam. Anna loved mathematics. To her, numbers were God's stuff and you had to treat them with reverence. Numbers knew exactly where and how they belonged in the scheme of things. She invents a number called squillion, a term for a very, very large number, what we would call infinity. She claims that she can give correct answers to a squillion questions and proves it to Fynn. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, 8 minus 5 is 3. There are infinite questions that lead to the same answer, 3. She is fascinated by the fact that every number is an answer to an infinite number of questions. She delves deeper into this. At the end of her exploration on this subject, she arrives at a profound conclusion. There is Mr. God in all of us. It is the God in us that connects to the God in others. Incidentally, this is the meaning of the ancient Sanskrit greeting, Namaste. The God in me bows to the God in you. How does a little child working with numbers and questions arrive at this understanding? You need to read the book to know the elegant and simple logic she uses. Anna claims that number 1 is the most important number because any other number can be made up by adding sufficient number of ones. She imagines an inverted triangle with number 1 at the apex, bearing the weight of all other numbers. She says the word God is also similar. It is at the bottom, bearing the meaning of all other words. She claims that the church is going about this the wrong way. They are building a colossal mountain of words using books like the Bible with God right at the top. It is wrong to expect words to bear the weight of the meaning of God. God is the word that bears the weight and meaning of all other words. She also shows Fynn a triangle standing on the word Anna. When I die and Mr. God asks me all the questions, I have to answer them myself, she tells Fynn. I have to bear the weight of all the things I have done and all the things I have thought. Once Fynn makes a mirror book for her. It is just two mirrors facing each other and stuck together at one end. You can place anything on a table and open the mirror book over it at any angle and study the reflections. She makes some fascinating discoveries and comes up with mind-blowing theories by experimenting with reflections on the mirror book. First, she learns to do math with reflected numbers. She calls the reflected numbers as takeaway numbers. If we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the real side of the mirror, we have -5, -4, -3, -2, -1 on the reflected side. This leads her to another epiphany. She says Mr. God must have made a big mirror and we are all on the other side of the mirror. She imagines God as someone standing in front of a mirror and the whole world as his reflection. God made us in his own image. But a reflection is always flipped, isn't it? Left is right and right is left. So a reflected image is a takeaway image. In a sense, we are opposite to God. On the takeaway side, people live in holes called greedy, wicked, cruel, liar, etc. On God's side of the mirror, there are heaps like generosity, kindness, and truth. The more you fill your holes with these, the nearer to God's side of the mirror you get. God looks into his mirror and sees all of us, but we cannot see him. Just like you can see your reflection, but your reflected face cannot see you. Many ancient philosophies claim that this world is just an illusion and provide several analogies to illustrate this concept. In fact, Shankaracharya uses the exact same words of Anna in one of his texts, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. This universe is like an image reflected on a mirror. How does a 5-year-old child arrive at this profound conclusion by simply playing with mirrors? It just boggles the mind. The secret to Anna's brilliance, like all great thinkers, was her ability to ask the right questions. She keeps praying to Mr. God to teach her how to ask real questions. She explains to Fynn that our questions are in boxes, so the answers only fit the size of the box. It is like asking a question in 2 dimensions, then the answer is in 2 dimensions too. It's like a box you cannot get out. If you are wondering how a 5-year-old child knows about dimensions, Anna's favorite book was Geometry of 4 Dimensions by Manning. This book gave a whole new meaning to the phrase, looking at the world through the eyes of a child. Albert Einstein once said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Anna's eyes were always open to the wonders of the world, and that is why she could see Mr. God in everything. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for reminders. Please share it with your friends and like-minded people. Until next time, Namaste.